So just a heads up, this vendor is pretty insane. Now, not all servers will have access to this, but yes, it literally sells some of the best in-slot items in the game. We look at this sniper, the Dunewatcher. It has 346 damage per shot, which is significantly higher than the default sniper. This is because these are unique items. These are top tier unique items. They will require plastinium, which some of you will struggle to obtain, particularly if you haven't reached the deep desert or if you're solo. Personally, I'm managing to get by to get my resources. It's not the easiest thing, but I recommend going at off-peak hours. You can watch my top 10 tips for solo farming in the deep desert, and that can help you out. But first of all, let's cover where am I and how do you get that merchant, because not everybody will have access to it. Well, I'm here in Aragon. You can either make your way to a trade post and speak to the traveling person, and you can fast travel directly to Aragon at a cost of 2,500. You do not have to, by the way, take this to get to this map. Just like going to the deep desert, if you simply fly to the edge of the map, keep in mind you have to fly, so you have to have an ornithopter, you will get the confirmation, do you want to go to the overworld map? It will load for you, and now you're this little ship, and you need to navigate all the way to the right side here, and you will find Aragon. Now you can also go to Harco village instead, should have the same vendors, and you end up on this map. Now you can see I'm located just here at the Landsraad vendor. However, these vendors won't always be available. You can check, say, the vehicles vendor and it's not available to me right now. Or I can check the tools vendor and it's also not available. But right now we have the weapons vendor, which is available. Again, selling those pretty much best in slot weapons for a limited time. 5 days, 21 hours. And if we click L, I believe that's the default key, it brings us to the Landsraad. And this is where the top guilds have voted upon a boon for this week. And right now what is active is the exclusive weapon import rights. Again, it's going to differ depending on your server. So the reason my server has this is because that is what the top guilds chose. But this is really good. It's the opportunity again for players to get the top tier items without necessarily having to farm the content in the deep desert. The most you'll have to do is, yes, get a bit of plastinium, get a bit of spice melange, but the rest of those items you can usually get in PvE areas. Be aware you can also come to these maps and visit the exchange. This is actually the very first time I visited this place and had a look at it. But this is basically the player auction house. So you can buy all of these different things from other players and you can sell them too. Like, it will show you what you have in your backpack. It will show the average and the lowest price of those items, and you can nearly sell everything, even if it has decayed. I can have a look at my orders, and I'm currently posting these 3 items. No idea if they will sell at that price, but just be aware of the tax. Like, if I want to go and sell this Adept Disruptor pistol, I would have to pay a tax in order to do so. If I listed it at 25,000, I'll have to pay 520 fee. And that fee will come from your deposit, which you have to go to this guy and you will have to input a deposit. You can see this is my credit and then the total amount I have. You're going to have to go deposit and select an amount that you want to deposit. And then that will be used as your fees on the auction house. And I believe if your order doesn't sell, that fee doesn't get refunded. So just be careful, don't spam things too much. And what this also means is you can purchase refined resources. You can purchase spice melange. You can purchase plastinium ingots. So you could simply go out there and farm salary, doing quests, farming chests, without necessarily having to engage in any content in the deep desert and ultimately max out your character. So it's fully possible. It is just a bit dependent on the player economy. And again, whether or not the top guilds in terms of the Landsraad select that they want to have like this weapon vendor, which again has some pretty insane stuff. Let's have a look at the stats of these because you can't necessarily see them in game. That Replica pulse knife is going to do 138.5 damage per hit. With having the perk, when you land a hit, you will gain a bit of stamina back. You could compare that versus the Regis Kinjal, which is 115, or the Regis Dirk, which is also 115 damage per hit. So this one is simply superior. Additionally, like we showed with the Dunewatcher, it can just clearly be better with regards to having that maximum damage. If you want to try and be one-shotting something, it just only has a clip of 2 versus the Spit Dart having a clip of 3. But again, there's more than 100 damage per shot difference, this being 235 and the Dunewatcher 346. I believe I will be purchasing that one, as I do like myself a nice sniper. Just get rid of those pesky enemies real quick who don't have a shield. Then we look at Ambition, which appears to be a shotgun, also known as a scatter gun, 154 per shot, a clip size of 4, and as it says here, holds 2 slugs in each barrel. Now we don't really have a basic shotgun. You could consider the drill shot as one, but this fires burrow darts, whereas the Ambition does not seem to actually fire burrow darts. Correct me if I'm wrong if somebody's actually tested it out, but therefore you can't really compare the damage that much or even the clip size. Drill shots usually only have a clip of 2. But again, that special ability to fire a dart which burrows through a shield unless your target dodges it. So I'm not quite sure how good that one is. Then there's the Ancient Way. This appearing to be a rocket launcher. We do have a basic form of that here. Checking this website, unfortunately, doesn't actually show the stats. So again, I don't know how good that thing's going to be. The default one is already pretty significant at 827 damage per shot. Just be aware you will have to craft special rocket ammo for it, I believe. But yeah, it could be very interesting to get this one and check it out. I might do so. Mainly because it just simply allows you to avoid Holtzman shields entirely. Along with it being, yes, literally the only tool good against ornithopters while you're on the ground. Although they kind of need to fix the fact ornithopters can just ram you and insta-kill you. I will have to do some testing and I may very well check this thing out. I'm interested to see how effective rockets really are. Finally, there's what appears to be a machine gun, Bashar's command, and we can indeed see the stats here, but they basically rely on peppering you with an absolute ton of bullets. Over 1100 rate of fire. That, I believe, is over 1100 bullets per minute. There should be a basic form, the Vulcan. Similar rate of fire, slightly less damage per shot, and slightly higher reload speed. So yeah, all around, this unique one just is that bit better again. So all of these are most likely best in slot versus their basic versions. And if you can, get these while they're available on your server. For me, they are, and I best pick them up throughout this week, try and farm myself enough Solari to purchase them all, because these are only here for this week, and I don't know, I'm not in one of the top guilds, I'm a complete solo player. I don't know what their thought process is for the next weeks, and it can flip, because let's say this set of Atreides guilds could end up winning the next Landsraad and choosing something completely different. One thing I will say though is I pity any of you that end up with the full loot PvP in the deep desert. I don't believe my server has had the option to choose it, thankfully, but if that comes up, maybe avoid the deep desert unless you really are hardcore with a good group. But yes, I will totally purchase this rocket launcher and eventually get it crafted, and I will get the Dunewatcher as well. What I'm interested to see if I can actually resell this unique schematic. Could it be worth buying a ton of them and reselling them at a later date at a markup? Scrolling down here, yes, I can, and somebody has it listed for over 600,000 for any of those gullible people. But I believe also these auction houses are for the entire game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure who actually has access. It could just be the entire Siege collection, or it could even be the entire region, thus allowing people who say don't have this Landsraad perk have the ability to buy those weapons again at a markup price. It could be a waste for me to attempt to sell this, but even if I could, say at 100,000, I'll be making salary on that. Maybe I will attempt to do so. A quick consideration though is the purchase limit. I believe you can only buy one of these per week. So if I sell this, that's it. I can't like buy it and keep reselling it, because it does show a 0 here, meaning I could only say buy it once. These other things most likely I can buy indefinitely. These I can buy 5 times. So overall, I hope this helps. I know not all of you are going to be able to instantly craft those items, but if they're available, I would recommend picking them up, and over time you will get there and be able to purchase the materials to craft them. Just don't take too long, because maybe within a few months we get a new content update which might bring better gear than this when we get, say, a new tier. But it is also nice to have collected, say, all of these, adding them to your collection just to fill them out. But that's it for now. A special thank you to all my channel members for your added support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now. And yes, you can subscribe and look out for a future video where I check out this rocket launcher. I just gotta farm the materials first.